Sometimes in life you make purchases that make you question your sanity. I've done that quite a few times in the past few years, starting with the E30, and unfortunately, continuing on to this. A 2004 BMW 325xi. I honestly have no idea why I just bought this thing. Actually, I do know why I bought it. It was only $300. So you know just from the get-go, it being a BMW, there's a lot of things wrong with it, and you'd be right. So a friend of mine's uncle was selling this car, and he didn't even want to put it up for sale. I think he just wanted to get rid of it. And my friend was like, hey, you like working on things that have no chance of being resurrected? Would you be interested? And I said, okay, I'll come look at it. Yeah, I saw it, and it has a bunch of things wrong with it. I mean, it's got rust. It's got, a sunroof that doesn't operate. It's got an engine that barely stays running. It's got a front end that looks like it's probably been repainted at least once. The headlights are nice and fogged up. But the thing of it is, underneath it's not that bad. It's not that rusty. The engine, while it runs rough, doesn't seem like it has any critical problems with it. And it just seemed like a car that could be turned around. I don't really have an objective with this thing, other than just making it a decent daily driver for as little money as possible. I don't want this to turn into an E30 version 2 where I end up dumping almost $10,000 into it. No way. It's got all the typical old BMW issues like failing plastic trim pieces, emblems that have gone missing. The brake lights are on the dashboard. The dashboard's got all kinds of lights on it right now. But if we just look at the inside of this car, it's probably the most luxurious vehicle I've ever owned. I mean, it has satellite navigation. Not that I'll ever use it, but that's got to be a really expensive upgrade back in 2004. It's got the xenon headlights. The interior overall is not so bad. The leather's in decent condition, just needs really cleaned up. When I went and looked at this, the sunroof was popped in the up position. It was stuck. The tracks, I guess, got jammed or whatever, so I've gotten that lowered back down because I didn't want water getting into it. But you can see it's got tons of duct tape residue everywhere. I don't know that I can really do anything about this sunroof. I've already been in there and tried to free up the tracks, and they're just really, really tight. I've sprayed some lubricant in there and it's just not doing anything, so that might just be something that has to be the way it is. At least water's not getting into it, as far as I know. So the chassis number here, as many of you know, is the E46, which, are pretty good cars all around, but they definitely have their faults, which this one has basically all of them. But this being the Wagon, it's actually a fairly practical car. It's got a nice big cargo area. And I really like the profile of the Wagon, probably more than all the other E46s. So that's kind of the saving grace of this car, is that it's more unique and more interesting. Now, this is an automatic car, so that's a little bit of a detractor, but honestly, if this is going to be a daily driver, maybe an automatic's okay. Maybe I'll warm up to that. But it is all-wheel drive as well, which is kind of something nice to have here in the Midwest. We just had a snowstorm not but 2 weeks ago. It would have been nice to have this car for that. But a fairly complete car overall. Spare tires in there. It's got all the tool kits still. You can see some trim pieces are missing here on the boot lid. I do know that the rear wiper also doesn't work. This is a pretty neat party trick of the E46 Wagon, is you have this glass that can be opened separate from the tailgate. And you can see that this is supposed to be a free-floating mechanism, and the motor's down here. And I think the motor's working. I haven't really tried it, but the fact that this is not free tells me that the mechanism in here needs to be freed up. So, little jobs, pretty easy jobs to fix. All kinds of little trim pieces that need to be fixed, which I'll get around to in time, but really the pressing issues are more mechanical ones. So this engine bay has not been cleaned in this car's entire life, I would bet. I've taken off the engine covers here because I just did some preliminary diagnosing on this engine, and I found out that it's got a massive vacuum leak, and a common vacuum leak area is the CCV system, the crankcase ventilation. There's like a series of 4 plastic pipes that crack and let air in, and the valve, the crankcase ventilation valve itself, gets clogged up with buildup and whatnot. So That's going to be one of the first projects I take on this car. And another symptom of the crankcase and the CCV system starting to fail is that oil starts seeping out of every crevice because it's positively pressurizing basically the inside of the engine and pushing oil out from anywhere possible, which means valve cover gaskets and whatnot. Basically every filter needs changed out on this. You know, the brake fluid, all the fluids need flushed. It's something I'll go through and do. And I think there's a strong car inside of this. It does have 200,000 miles. But it's a B&W N-Line 6. I mean, how bad could it really be? I probably am going to eat my words there. Let's check out this cabin air filter. Yeah, that's probably not been changed out in many, many years. Even being as neglected as this car has been, you can tell that B&W's build quality is still really good on these things. I mean, it's just held up really well, even through much neglect. But that's not to say it's perfect by any means, as you can see. The brakes are basically non-existent in the front, at least the pads anyway. The wear sensor's gone through and it's put a light up on the dashboard. So that's definitely a safety issue I'm going to have to take care of immediately. Luckily, the tires are in decent shape, so that saves me a bunch of money, at least right off the bat. You just got to count your blessings with a $300 car. Bit of rust down there at the bottom of this door. All the other doors are fine. Something about the right side of this car is more rusty than the left side, so I don't know if it was always parked on a incline or something that made the right side rust out or what. The belly pan is hanging down. It makes a hideous noise as you're driving along, but it's funny, after you get above 5 miles per hour, the wind sweeps it up and it's no longer dragging on the ground. That'll be an easy fix, but man, it's terrible to drive like that. Then we've got this rust on the A-pillar. I don't know if there's a economical way to actually fix this without removing the windscreen. But the windscreen does have a nice crack in it, so maybe we'll do that, maybe we won't. I don't know. Again, I don't really know what I'm going to do with this car. I want to make it mechanically sound and safe, but cosmetically, do I really want to go all the way on this? It's a $300 car, and it's not rare or anything. So we'll just have to see. Whoever originally bought this car obviously cared about it somewhat, because look, they even got these all-weather floor mats. I mean, I can't imagine that would have been cheap to buy. It's got all these functions that I don't even know what they all do. I mean, it's got almost looks like a hill descent control, but honestly, I don't know what that is. It's got heated seats. This is the first car I've had in a very long time with heated seats, although I don't know if they actually work. Look at all that space back there. Whenever you buy a car like this, you start dreaming of what you could do with it. Something as crazy as swapping the drivetrain out for something interesting, like a E46 M3 with a manual transmission. That's not something I would necessarily turn away if an E46 M3 just so happened to appear in my garage. A wrecked one, of course, but I don't know. I'll keep my eye out. Who knows, maybe a wrecked convertible come up and for a good price, and it'll make this make sense all of a sudden. So we'll see. So that's the new project car, an E46 BMW. I haven't had a BMW in the garage for quite some time, and I know a lot of people have been wanting to see a BMW on this channel again, so here one is. It's not an E30, but it's something. We'll get this thing put back together, at least mechanically sound and looking decent. Until then, we'll see you guys again next time.